Allora, abbiamo chiacchierato anche più del solito, ragazzi. Adesso è il momento di vedere un video che mi interessa particolarmente, il nuovo video di Laura Fryer, che si chiama The Bubble Club vs Ark Riders, ragazzi. E questo è uno di quei video che copre un tema potenzialmente interessante e un tema che mi ha personalmente interessato, specie dopo la nuova recensione di Eurogamer, e guardando la descrizione del video dovrebbe essere esattamente quello il tema. Vediamo se va nella direzione che penso. Io non l'ho ancora visto ovviamente il video e quindi non posso saperlo in anticipo, ma è una delle cose che voglio vedere insieme a voi. Uno, perché adoriamo Laura Fryer qua nella community. Due, perché può essere una bella cosa da vedere insieme e basta, d'accordo? Quindi sottotitoli automatici, purtroppo non c'è altro a disposizione nei video di Laura Fryer, però dai, tutto sommato ci dobbiamo, cioè, tutto sommato va bene, dai, grosso modo si capisce. Pronti? Via.
Eurogamer just tried to tank Arc Raiders' review score by giving them a 40%
Ah, proprio da
rating on
subito,
Metacritic,
all'inizio,
dragging the
ok.
aggregate from 94 to 84. Why? Because the game wasn't good? No, because the writer didn't like how Embark Studios built their game. They didn't like that Embark used actor data and a text-to-speech system to generate new lines, saving weeks' worth of work. And everyone got paid. No stolen voices. They did it right. Eurogamer gave Concord a 60%. They felt the $400 million flop that shut down in 11 days was better than Arc Raiders. And to top it off, they gave Call of Duty Black Ops 7 a 3 out of 5, and zero mention of its generative AI for calling cards and banners. It's a travesty. But Embark, radio
Questo
silence.
non mi ero reso
No
conto di
temper
questa cosa,
tantrums,
dai,
no slap fights on
è
social
veramente
media,
uno
and
show
that's
di
not
clown
arrogance.
Eurogamer
Okay, that's a
ultimamente. È
masterclass in
incredibile.
PR and production priorities. They're letting their game speak for them. Today, as an ex-producer and studio manager, I'll autopsy why Embark gets it right. Customers over critics, brutal honesty with players and themselves, a CEO who leads without commanding, a smart publisher that's backing their visionaries, and a lean machine pumping out hits with shocking efficiency. First, Embark knows that Metacritic doesn't pay the bills, players do, and players love the game. Even Eurogamer praises the rich PvE, the friendly community, the tense raids. The writer seems to love the game, and then docks it for using AI on things like emotes, a decision that saves time for the actors and the team. They call it abhorrent ethically. It's ridiculous. And then you had Concord, which was dead on arrival, and it got a pass. So reviewers are now going to start policing game production practices.
Laura Fryer mi Crash
Ooh,
Greta.
we don't like your engine. Is that what's
Non
next?
rivediamo gli altarini.
Or maybe if a studio has too much remote work, we're going to give you a 2 out of 5? It's crazy to think that a journalist has any business telling the games industry how to make their games.
Esatto.
This is the games industry
Ma
bubble
questo
I
non
broke
è a
down last
caso.
year, where journalists can end up building a bubble, a clique, where they're deciding who's in and out. And it can feel like only the popular developers get a good review, regardless of what they produce. The critics prop up $400 million disasters while punishing others. Luckily, Embark already explained to players that no jobs were lost, that it was a choice to speed iteration for everyone involved. They don't need to respond to the journalists, and that's because things have changed in the industry. Journalists are largely irrelevant. The bubble is just that, a bubble. Only the clique cares. The rest of the games industry has moved on. Not only that, Arc Raiders is a live service game. The reviews of today are going to go out of date. And all of those updates that they'll be doing on a regular basis, that's where I
Sì, sta parlando di Ark Riders, ma in realtà non sta parlando in maniera più ampia della bolla del giornalismo videoludico.
Their plan was to make a PvE only game. They ran the tests and minute to minute was good. It was solid. They had solid gunplay, robot slaying fun. That's not where the problem was.
Then you go into hour by hour, and then, day by day, and then maybe week by week, month by month. That's where the problem starts. And you need to really make sure that you have things for players to do.
So they had to pivot. They kept what worked, scrapped the rest, and decided to make a PvP VE extraction. For non-gamers, PvPvE extraction is simple. Team up or backstab with strangers to loot a robot-infested wasteland, then extract alive. It's like Ocean's 11 in Mad Max. You have high risk, huge reward, and endless what-if tension. But here's the amazing part. Many of the devs worked on Battlefield. They were tired of PvP after years at DICE and EA. They didn't want to add it.
Should we consider adding the PvP component?
A lot of people, and frankly me included, wanted this to be a PvE game, and I wanted for our vision to work.
This problem isn't discussed enough in the industry, and it trips up so many experienced developers. When you start, you are the market, but tastes shift. I learned this young when I was gushing to the Age of Empires CEO about features I'd love, new units, strategies. He thanked me, and then he gently pointed out that a young woman obsessed with an RTS at that time was a complete anomaly. I was not his core market. And that humility is what saves games, and it saved Embark. Brutal playtests over personal preferences. They run the test, set their egos aside, and listen to their players. They are delivering what players want.
Someone needs to dare to say what I think is uncomfortable. That's my job. That's how I look at myself. I'm the guy that needs to point out the things that are uncomfortable. I can maybe guide people towards a direction, but ultimately they're the ones that are going to have to figure it out, right?
This is CEO Patrick Soderlund, ex-EA executive who understands leadership. He points out problems, shares opinions, then steps back, lets the team solve. He asks those dumb but difficult questions that spark real innovation, no top-down mandates. And that's why pivots work. Ownership at every
interessante
level
il concetto,
means faster fixes, and players can feel it. You can't run a 300-person studio with two
la versione migliore è ciò che rappresentò Vigor qualche anno fa. Oddio.
And think that you can make every
Forse,
decision as the
forse sì,
executive.
sì.
I know. I've seen execs try it. They try to add value by solving the team's problems, and that doesn't scale. And Soderlund, he scales. Then there's the publisher, Nexon. Look, they've had some challenges, and gamers aren't thrilled with some of their choices. But with Embark, maybe they've changed. Maybe they've learned, because they're certainly supporting them.
When the finals weren't, had its problems, they were like, okay, this was expected. Here's what you need to do. Think about it. Like, they were super supportive and just take your time, fix this, be patient. We were the impatient ones, not them. So that is for Embark a blessing, and they're very hands-off. They let us do our thing. They believe in us. And incredibly supportive.
This partnership appears to be working.
Questo mi ricorda un discorso che abbiamo fatto recentemente sul canale.
Living the dream. Keeping these balls in the air, incredibly tough.
Ciao Montenay, grazie mille.
Because they built the team and tools from day one with this goal in mind. They wanted custom pipelines to make the boring work vanish. Freeing
Piaciuto modo di fare, davvero mi
creators to
piace, grazie mille.
This, combined with autonomy and no top-down management, means lean teams and massive output. This approach is counter to the bloat you've seen in the industry. And this is why it's so hard watching these big studios struggle. If Ubisoft had had patience with XDefiant, which they shut down after just a year despite early hype, could they have turned it around? Maybe Sony will take a supportive approach with Bungie's delayed Marathon. They seem to be. And maybe Xbox will quit solving their problems through layoffs. They certainly have the money, and there are still plenty of talented developers in their studios. I've noticed the old guard, the bubbled up club of the games industry, likes to take shots at successful outsiders like Embark. And I find it really perplexing and frankly a little frustrating. This industry has always evolved with technology and taste. It's a creative dialogue. We should celebrate Larian and Sandfall and Embark. Learn from them. Learn from their wins. Embark's getting it right. They're listening to their players. They're building scalable studios. They have autonomy at every level. They're delivering post-launch, and they have a 10-year plan, not a 2-month plan. No seasons, just content when it's ready. They've shown game developers a roadmap. Let's just hope more will follow.
They're just not ready. They're just not ready. But hey, at least they nominated it for something. I genuinely thought they wouldn't nominate it for anything because they were scared to get backlash. Another rigged year. That's crazy.
Beh, allora ragazzi, il tema è una cosa che mi interessa molto e Laura Fryer è sempre molto focalizzata sull'industria in sé. Io, come ho detto già tante volte, prima o poi cercherò di fare dei contenuti più, diciamo, un po' più profondi e studiati e consapevoli su questo. Io credo che il problema culturale del giornalismo videoludico sia di gran lunga maggiore rispetto a qualunque altro. Credo che sia questo il più grosso problema dell'industria in questo momento. Però dal punto di vista strettamente dell'industria è anche giusto, dal punto di vista che mostra Laura Fryer, concentrarsi anche sull'aspetto tecnicamente della produzione, perché alla fine è la pipeline che ti permette di avere i giochi, ok? E la pipeline che ti permette di avere i giochi viene spesso un po' edulcorata da delle scelte e non è sempre così facile identificare dov'è il problema, ma lei è sempre piuttosto diretta nel dire che è il supporto, è l'idea, è il feedback dei giocatori. Ed è stata anche piuttosto interessante questa decisa presa di posizione di Laura Fryer, dicendo in sostanza una cosa che un po' tutti sappiamo già da tempo, cioè che i giornalisti videoludici non contano poi più così tanto, cioè hanno ancora il loro ruolo, ma molto per demerito di loro stessi, che si sono cacciati in questo casino da soli, mi viene da dire, e hanno molta meno rilevanza rispetto a quella che credono di avere, no? Certi articoli hanno molto più rilevanza perché uno youtuber ci fa un video sopra piuttosto che i numeri delle persone che letteralmente poi l'hanno letto quell'articolo, il che è direi che è piuttosto significativo, no? Di questo parleremo. Comunque Laura Fryer è sempre fantastica perché ti dà l'aspetto diretto dell'industria, data la sua esperienza nel gestire un team di sviluppo. E nel caso di Arkriders questa cosa è andata bene. Oltretutto, posso far notare un'altra cosa? Sapete quando si dice ma i live service ormai ce ne sono troppi, non ha nessun senso farli, bla 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 bla? Ecco, e improvvisamente quando invece li fai bene il pubblico li accetta e li accoglie molto bene. Com'è sto fatto? Sembra quasi che un videogioco fatto bene, con amore e che segue la community e che davvero vuole fare ciò che i giocatori desiderano da quel gioco, alla fine ha più possibilità di successo. Che strano, eh? Già, sembra una cosa ovvia, ma a volte nella dinamica interna può essere dimenticato e persone come Laura Fryer te lo ricordano sempre molto bene, il che è utile, anche se la guardi dal punto di vista strettamente del giocatore. Già, almeno io la penso così.